Evan, it's time.
Yes, sir.
It is time we discuss how things went last season, the cards and the locations we encountered. I ended up getting the War of the Nine Realms season that dropped on November 6th of 2024. First card, the card that came with the season pass is Surtur. 3 cost, 5 power. After you play a card with 10 plus power, this gains plus 3 power. A lot of people were talking about how OP the card was, and I encountered it maybe a couple times. Well, I shouldn't say. I know there's a handful of times out there. As far as using it go, though, I didn't use it very often. What was your experience with Surtur?
I saw him a few times. I didn't find him to be a problem. It was just the fact that they had loaded up their deck with other high-powered cards. He could get up there, but I didn't think he was bad by any stretch. When I saw Surtur, I wasn't like, oh, crap, it's Surtur. It was like, oh, crap, who's coming after Surtur?
Right. He's sneaky, too. I think this was during Deadpool's Diner, if I remember right. I kept seeing Surtur pop out there, and I had Shang-Chi ready to go. And I was like, okay, sweet. I'm ready to lay this thing out there. And no, if we get up to an 8, and I'm like, oh, crap, I can't knock him out yet. Somebody had, I can't remember the combos. Oh, it was Galacta. And, of course, we'll talk about Galacta here in a little bit. But, using Galacta to help 7-power cards get up to 10, and then Surtur would boost. So, but anyway.
Now, if I had him, I'd probably look at maybe putting him in my Savage Sword of Shulkanot deck, because that's got a lot of 10-power cards in it.
Right.
I can see where he's useful. People put him in, since he's a 3-cost with Silver Surfer, so you could call it Silver Surtur. Not a lot of 10-power cards that work very well with Silver Surfers, so probably not a very productive way to go.
No, Silver Surtur. That's good stuff. All right, well, next up, Frigga. 3 cost, 3 power. On reveal, add a copy of the last card you played to your hand, if you're able to. I think I maybe seen her once or twice. Did not see her at all very much after that. So any specific encounters with Frigga at all?
I saw her a few times. In fact, it was like yesterday or today somebody was playing her, and I was like, oh, crap, he's getting another copy of that card. So, I can see where she's useful, but I didn't see her a whole lot. Not a card out. We talked about last time there was somebody who used Frigga to, do some kind of crazy combo, and I was like, maybe I'll give her a shot, but then I didn't.
Yeah, I bet you she's got some really good uses. But, yeah, it seems like not too many people were using her very much. And again, a lot of this season, I think, was affected in some way by Deadpool's Diner, as far as my playing habits go, for sure. So that might be a factor.
I can see putting her in a Surfer deck. Maybe if you play Brood and then her, you could fill up a couple locations with 3-cost cards. So I could see her working in there, but, somebody you add on, not anybody you build around.
All right, then, King Eitri. He's a 1 cost, 2 power, activate, draw a card that didn't start in your deck. And this was the card that came with Deadpool's Diner. That's right. You got to work your way to King Eitri. I tried. I got all the way to 2 stops before King Eitri. I did not pursue any further. I got tired of the grind, so I stopped. Once again, Cassandra Nova, King Eitri, out of reach for me. You made it there, though.
Yeah, I wasn't sure I was one to. Now, grind wasn't bothering me as much. I was losing it. It felt like it was taking me a while to make any progress, and I was seeing people on Reddit and stuff. This is terrible. I don't know. If I ran out of bubs, I just did something else for a while, came back, and it did feel like it was taking me longer to advance. I don't know if it was the same levels this time, but right after I got one of the other cards we're going to talk about, I hit a deck and went on a roll, and once I got it like 3 million, I got him pretty quick. It took me a while to get into the higher levels, but once I got him, I had a good deck. It moved pretty quick when I got in reach of him, and then I didn't go back to Deadpool's Diner.
Did not go back.
I played 1 game and donated some bubs, and that was about it.
Okay. Have you had a chance to throw him into a deck?
Oh, yeah. I knew I wanted to put him in a deck with Thor and Beta Ray Bill, what I call MCU Hammer.
Beautiful.
He works, not on as wide a scale, but a little quicker than Jane Foster. A couple times I have played Thor, then Eitri. I've already had him out there. Since he's an activate card, you just throw him out there. And I've played Thor or Beta Ray Bill and then immediately activated Eitri, so I get the hammer in the same hand. So he doesn't pull multiple hammers like, Jane will pull any 0-cost card in your deck. So he doesn't pull multiple hammers. He doesn't work in a Mr. Negative deck the way Jane does, but he's quick, and with it being an activate, you just get him out there and you can get the hammer pretty quick. I was looking at my notes from last time. I said he might be cool to try him in an Erisham deck since he pulls a card that didn't start. Or now that I think about it, a Thanos deck. The stones work to draw themselves, but there have been plenty of times where I've been missing a stone or two. So might try him in there. But I mean, not sort of saying not overwhelming. What would you expect from a one cost card? But not like Silver Sable or Agony, two of the best one cost cards introduced recently, in my opinion. He's got his uses, and I just figured out another use for him while we were talking. Plus, when you play it, even though he doesn't look like it, you get to think back to Infinity War, where Eitri tells Thor that holding that thing open would kill him, and Thor says, "Only if I die," and he goes, "Yes, that's what killing means." So good memories. And when you think about Infinity War, it doesn't always bring back happy thoughts. So
no, it doesn't. All right, next up, Malekith, 4 cost, 6 power. On reveal, add a 1, 2, or 3 cost card from your deck here. It reveals at the end of the game. I am not seeing these cards. Surtur is probably the one I've seen the most, but that was probably because a lot of people got the season pass and immediately got that card. Malekith was one that I think I might have ended up with in my hand at one point because of Erisham or something.
Yeah.
But it was very seldom seen to see that card. So it was not like it hit the board and I was like, oh, crap, here we go. Not very much interaction on my end. How about you?
I feel like it did make a difference. It is kind of hard to predict when you don't know what card is going to come out of there. I could see it being fun to play and mess around with, but not one that I spend any keys to try to get.
Yeah, it seems like everybody else felt the same way.
All my keys this morning.
Right. Yeah, these keys, man, I went through a good bit of them at one point, and now I'm struggling to keep them. I go through them pretty, this season might not be as bad because I'm not feeling the pull to spend them on some of these cards that are upcoming, but we'll talk about that soon. I feel you there. The next one, we both were like, okay, we got to try and get this card because we thought it was going to be one of those cards that makes a big impact. Fenris Wolf, 2 cost, 3 power, activate, resurrect the highest power discarded or destroyed enemy card to your side of this location. One of the drawbacks of this season was Deadpool's Diner for me because I got so involved with that, I didn't have much time to put decks together. Didn't we both pull Fenris Wolf on the first try with our first key, if I remember right?
I got one to try.
So I threw him into a couple decks, and I haven't had a chance to really hone in on making good use of Fenris Wolf. I think there's probably something I'm missing. But did you have any luck?
He's been a lot of fun. I'm trying to think what I first tried him on. Because I had some ideas for him, but mainly it was things that discard or destroy. I'm trying to pull it up now because then I kind of went down a rabbit hole. I don't know if we want to talk about that here in the meta, but I kind of went down a rabbit hole with a particular Fenris strategy that you told me about. You sent me a message that said, somebody said that Fenris and Destroyer work. So the idea is you put Fenris down, you discard Destroyer at some point, then you play Viper on Fenris lane, and then you activate Fenris before you end your turn. Fenris goes over to your opponent, activates, and if you play your cards right, the only card you've discarded is Destroyer. Even if you haven't, it's probably going to be your highest power card, and suddenly it wipes out their board. So they're probably going to win that lane. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Okay, I remember that now.
Although sometimes they can still, but yeah, I've got a little story about that one.
Check out the meta later, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have a good story for you. As far as any other uses for Fenris, how'd things go?
Honestly, Fenris to me is almost like, yeah, there's some cool things you can do with him, mainly with Shang-Chi, especially once you realize he's an activate card. I remember right after I got him, everything was set up, played Shang-Chi, I played Fenris, nothing happened. I'm like, oh, it's an activate. That's why. Shang-Chi is generally going to take out it has to be at least 10 power, so he's going to tend to take out a high-powered card, and then, Fenris can bring him right back. I'm trying to find because I don't remember exactly what deck I started with Fenris, but I mean, honestly, he's one I even thought about putting in with like Erisham, or, at worst case scenario, he's Shocker with tremendous upside.
True.
At the end of the day, he's a 2 cost 3 power, so you can just throw him out there. Maybe he doesn't get anything, but as popular as Destroy and Discard are, you just have him in there, or you might have a location that discards or does destroy. Not a bad dude to have around.
True. It's a good point.
Tim, but at one point, I was telling my friend that I think I sent you some captures of me trying to pull the Fenris Destroyer I immediately started calling that deck Richard Moby.
Nice.
Although I have since changed that one out. Yeah, I was able to find one of my near misses. The early deck I tried with Fenris had a bunch of cards to make your opponent discard. So like Black Bolt, Moon Knight, Thatcher. I had Crystal in there for some reason. The first time I got it to work, I Vipered Fenris over. He brought Destroyer back, and the guy had 25 in that lane, but wiped out the other two lanes. Unfortunately, one of those lanes, Agony and Hulkbuster boosted Wolverine. So when he blasted Wolverine, he landed on another lane for 24 points.
Oh my gosh.
I did get him to work a few times, and then I started messing around with the deck even more. And yeah, I came up with one that it's not like a guaranteed winner, but when it works, it's a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, our next one that we wanted to get our hands on was Gore. 6 cost, negative. You weren't impressed. I know that you weren't a fan. Let's put it that way. You were not a fan of the character.
I called him the new Sebastian Shaw. I thought the power was good, but I don't like the character.
Okay. All right.
But all that changed when I got him. Somebody generated him. Oh, yeah, Valentina. I was playing my good old Living Iron slot deck, and Valentina generated Gore, and I'm like, let's throw Gore down there and see what happens. Well, I happened to pair him with Onslaught.
Oh,
and so
geez.
suddenly he was a 4-cost, 27 power card. And I was like, maybe that's worth trying one key. The problem at that point wasn't that I didn't want Gore. The problem was that if I didn't get Gore and I didn't get another random card, I was going to get a variant of either Legion or Havoc that I didn't want to play and didn't even really want to have in my collection. Now, the art, better than anything I could do. I'm sure some people like it, and more power to them, but I'm like, ew.
Yeah.
I gave it a shot, and I got Gore on the first try, too.
Yeah. So to lay out 6 costs.
Oh, yeah.
-1 power. Ongoing is +2 power for each on-reveal card in play. Gore can get huge. Later on throughout that week, well, sure enough, I was able to see somebody use him with Mr. Negative. When I figured that out, I was like, that makes complete sense. Now you have a 0-cost 6 power if you can get him flipped with +2 for each on reveal. That's unreal. So yeah, that was where I was like, I've got to get this together. I'll talk a little bit about that experience when we discuss the meta. How about any other thoughts on Gore?
Oh, I did have to kind of do some mental gymnastics with him, because I'm like, is there a world where Gore could be a good guy? Or more importantly, can I just pretend he's Saint Walker on a really bad day? Because they're both aliens with Twi'lek head tails. The picture on his basic card is really creepy. It's like, is he wearing a venom thong? It's just like a shadowy spider thing over his nether regions. And I'm like, yeah, you got your sword. I like the angle, everything. I question some of the choices made for that card, but he's pretty defective. Ravana will drop his cost 1. So I think, the first one I tried to do is I tried to just put him in an ongoing deck where all my cards are ongoing. And then I'm like, well, that
defeats the purpose.
I'm not sure why I thought that was good. But that one didn't last very long. But he went in a Mr. Negative deck. He's in my MCU Hammer deck because there's a lot of on-reveal cards. Thor and Beta Ray Bill are creating more on-reveal cards. So just makes sense to have him in there. There's a lot of high-power cards in there, so you're not building up toward the reveal of Gore at the end. But hey, if he comes in and does something, more power to you, literally.
True. I had him in a deck with Sentinels and Master Mold. It was one of the few times that I felt like Master Mold worked. Yeah, like I was throwing the Sentinels into their hands. If they play any of these Sentinels, it's just going to be better for him.
That's a good idea.
I dug that. That was the one deck that I felt comfortable using with Gore ends. All right, moving on to locations. Our first location on the docket here is Valhalla. After turn 4, repeat the on-reveal abilities of cards here. I wish I played more that day that was featured, because I did have a no-fun deck ready to go. It was awesome to sit there and watch basically eliminate their deck by turn 4.
Jesse, no fun.
No fun, baby. No fun. How about you? Did you enjoy Valhalla?
Yeah, I like it. I don't recall doing a ton with it that day. It's a good location. It doesn't change the game all around, but it's something you should take note of, and it will help you out.
Okay. Well, then up next would be a Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil. After each turn, give all cards at another location +1 power. I didn't even change my notes from last time because I think everything just remained the same. It was a great idea. I thought I had Sebastian Shaw. I thought I owned that card. I do not own Sebastian Shaw. And I was so excited because I was like, okay, it's time to use him. And I'm scrolling. I'm like, what does he cost? Because I must be missing. I couldn't find him. Well, yeah, I don't own him. It was fun to see Yggdrasil out there and use it as, I'm pretty sure I legioned it at least once and watched all this power go all over the place. Any thoughts on Yggdrasil?
Yeah, I like it. It's not quite as effective as Muir Island because you know right where it's going to be, but yes, still fun, still a fun card to play with. The season pass card from the upcoming season will be a good one to use with it because you would play her on Yggdrasil and then get even more bonuses at the other locations.
Heck yeah. Well, that was the War of the Nine Realms, started November 6, 2024. Thanks a lot for joining us. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for the next installment of Snap Material.